you are. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Sarlacc Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 310, being recorded on June 4th, 2025. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. Got Scott Solo here today.
What's up, nerds?
Because we might have to recast.
We might have to recast. Yeah.
Good thing is we got an extra dude coming back. We could just throw him right in.
It's like
It's not even a recast. It's just
like
a complete
poetry.
replacement.
It rhymes. Yeah.
Yeah, we just keep it all in.
Grand Admiral Braun is back.
We're going retro.
Yes.
Are you going to get Fanboy? You're going to get Fanboy back?
Yeah.
Get Fanboy on here. If Ernie shows up after 500, we'll be rolling.
Yeah. 500 minutes. But
Right. Force Ghost John is always here.
Yeah. Welcome back, friends.
Thanks.
Welcome. We've got the returning Bootleg Joe, who is okay. So this is 2 weeks in a row. Do we take the missing poster off?
I don't know. Do we wait for 2 or do we do it at 2 or do we wait until 3?
Because 2 is a coincidence. 3 might be a trend. So
Yeah, you don't call it a streak till 3.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Don't question it. Just go with it.
Yeah, let's just roll. Let's just every week we'll just open up StreamYard and be like, yay!
Exactly. Don't question it. Just go with it. All right. Yeah. Stu John hitting us with the $2 recasting. A lot of recasting going on. A lot of recasting. Thank you for that. Before we get into it, we got to talk Star Wars, but we got to shout out our Shadow Council. And if Scott can siphon through all the Hellrunner based
Oh my God.
comments to see who's here, because the XP, man, that has been a trigger. But it's all
guess
you.
so.
You got the floor. Take it away.
All right. Well, hey, welcome back, everybody. Sorry I messed up tonight's intro. It's made. It's in there. I just didn't load it in the right spot. It's my
I swear
fault.
this never happens. That's
Yeah,
It's the first time.
it's the first time. I swear. I swear. But thanks to these people, we even have an intro, and that is our Shadow Council. That is our Patreon crew. AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Brandon and Anya Epler, Brian C., Cliff, Commander Bly. Yeah, I might recast him. I don't know. Commander Cook, Crystal E., Don the Dad Dorn, Eric Grubb, Flavy Davy, Gavin Connor from the Holy Hour All Cure podcast, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Mervine Balanos. Took me a little bit there to get Mervine's name out. Sorry, Mervine. Mervine Balanos, Matt Logic, Mufftack is back, Nicholas Schaefer, Obi-Sean Kenobi, and our buddy, our pal, Rhino Hobbies Esquire. If you want to join our Shadow Council, just log on to patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest Podcast and donate a couple of bucks. We'd appreciate it. It goes right back into the making of this show, including all of the intros that I forget to load up. So thank you. Thank you for that.
They got Joey
Yeah.
back.
I like the little extra money we're getting in here from the fight.
I know.
In the chat.
Fight.
We need to instigate one every week. Just get everybody going. Like, man, we made like $14 on these fools.
Oh my God. All right. So in the meantime, in the chat, in the pit, we've got Hal Runner Base in there. Do we know this person? Elwood. I can't.
Yes,
say
we
Elwood.
do.
Hey, Joe, say this person's name.
Damn.
Why you? That's racist.
I know.
Does he wears Raider gear?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, which alone?
Nicolo?
Oh, Wick alone.
Wick alone.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
What it means, I don't know.
I don't either. We've got Darth Moocher in there. That's weird. That's very strange. Then I'm scrolling through about 15,000 Hal Runner base.
We were going to take every single
just-
one of his questions and answer every single one in order.
Good God Almighty, man!
We'll do that as a special episode.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Leave that.
Rhino
Rhino
Hobbies is in there. What's up,
dude?
Rhino? How's it
There's
going,
like
buddy?
5 people in the chat, but they're all.
It's actually
There's like 500 comments.
Basil G in there. We've got Don the Dad Dorn in there. Commander Bly, who has already threatened to recast me, which
money
not
talks.
cool, man.
Money
Stu
talks.
John Jedi's in there. He's our buddy. He's our pal. He's sticking up for me. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. We got Meeks in there. Let me see who else. It's hard to cipher through. We've got Gavin Connor in there hanging out. We've got Jason Steele in there. What is up, everybody? My gosh, Santo 1414.
What's up, Santo?
Mando Mike is in there. Commander Bly, again, like I said, trying to recast me, which is not cool, man. Not cool at all. Genobi's in there. What's up,
Julie?
We've got Adam in there. What's up, Adam? Welcome back, man.
That's a big crew today.
Yeah.
It is a huge crew.
Like we had an episode of something.
I don't know what they think we're going to talk about. But
John Graber, the space jockey's in
What's
there.
up, dude?
Let me see. Thank you, Mando Mike. Thank you. I appreciate that. Scott is flawless. I appreciate it. Scott is full of flaws. What Scott is. Ted 3 Trooper. There we
Thank
go.
you,
What's
man.
up, my dudes?
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Who else? Wow, just everybody popping off. So yeah, I think that's what we've got right now. Anybody else wants to say hi? We'll give you a shout out. Why not?
Yep. Because again, I know why people are here. We want to talk Star Wars, and we're going to talk Star Wars. So it was kind of cool this week that Sam Witwer was in the mode of Darth Maul, right? Darth Maul is in the spotlight, and why I love anything Darth Maul. I thought he was going to be the biggest name coming into episode 1, and
he was on the toys, dude.
His career was cut short. Aw, dun-dun-dun.
Killer.
Man, no, Mike getting with the $5 towards Scott's retirement fund. Yeah. But yeah, so it was kind of cool. I mean, the old news is that of course Shadow Lord is coming, but it's not coming until next year, and I was kind of disappointed because of the long stagnant Star Wars that we're getting. I thought an animated project would have been great from the trailer that
Yeah.
we got, looked like there was a lot of footage there ready to roll, right?
Yeah.
It seemed like the way they talked about it and everything, like it was not it was in the can.
Yeah.
So
why
like you
wait
could
this
get it in the
long?
next 6 months, not have to wait till next year. Nonsense.
Yeah.
Good old Mr. Ten Horns.
Yes. Remember that, fellas. Remember
That's right.
10 horns on Darth Maul said. So what did Sam Witwer have to say this week? So we know that it's the show is going to take place 10 years after the Clone Wars, right? So
that's Solo time frame.
No, I mean 1 year. 1 year. Sorry, 1 year after the Clone Wars.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not Solo time frame.
So it's going to deal with the Order 66 fallout, and that's what he was basically saying, right? We're going to.
Are we going to see it again?
No,
Just kidding.
I think we're going to.
We already saw Maul's
maybe.
version of Order 66, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
we could. Yeah, we could see him going up. I mean, we're probably going to figure out how he gets his half Inquisitor lightsaber, right? I mean, I'm sure Inquisitor at one point in time or another he's going to end up coming up against.
I don't know.
But,
I mean, is Darth Maul would it even be on the radar as a Force user, as somebody who went after the Emperor?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like
he was on the kill list when he was on the ship in season 7. They were coming to kill him.
Gotcha. So I think what Sam Witwer was saying though on the fallout with Darth Maul himself, as like, oh crap, Palpatine did it. Like his coming to terms of the Sith plan, the revenge plan, the stuff. So yes, he's going to be on the run because he obviously wasn't involved in the plan, and you know, stuff happened. Hence his anger towards Obi-Wan. So it's going to be cool to explore that rather than because like we got that 1 year after Order 66, which was the Bad Batch, right? We got those the Empire coming in. So it's interesting that we're going to deal more on an emotional level with Darth Maul.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's really weird that it's the 1 year out. Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
I was just going to say, I've got his actual quote here. Do you want me to go ahead and read the quote?
Please,
We can
please.
pick it
Yes.
apart. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
It says, this is a year after the Clone Wars. You have a situation where everyone got destroyed by the clones, and Maul's organization didn't really hold under that pressure. He still has a group with him, but it's not like it was. And so it's devastating in that way. Everyone is very afraid. Everyone is very uncertain, but he is watching the Empire that he knew was coming, but he wasn't thinking it was going to be like this. He was in on his master's plan, but only partially. He knew some things, he didn't know others. So he knew the Empire was coming, but just didn't expect this.
Nice.
So it's basically how a bad man deals with an even worse situation is the premise behind this show.
Right.
And
welcome in, Fry. Welcome in, Fry. We're going to get to this comment later. I just want to put out there and welcome to the show because we're going to get into exactly that. But yeah, okay, cool. Don.
I think it's crazy how much they've loaded up that part of the time frame, like immediately after Order 66, right? That's a lot of stuff. That's Bad Batch 2, Asajj's little shorts. Everything is like really like, hey, here's Order 66, boom.
It's truncated in that spot. A lot of what we're getting
really is.
You would think that they would do something because they never finished what happened after Solo. So you would think that they would do this maybe.
Yeah.
This is perfect, right? This would have been perfect.
That's
there's a possibility that it could it could be filling in that zone. This could be a long time span of a show, right?
I would that would be
honestly
awesome.
It could be post Solo, really all of it, but then flashing back in a cartoon mode,
right?
Like when they're telling a story and you're like da 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 or whatever's happening and it flashes back, Boba Fett style or whatever, No back to tanks.
No back to exactly. Rhino Hobbies, he probably didn't know about Order 66.
He was in it. He was there.
Was he privy of the plan?
Was right.
Yeah, he knew what was going on, right? In season 7, he knew what was happening.
That's right, because he said, because I remember it was even in a book or comic, and like what I just said earlier, Darth Maul said, "Oh, he did it. Like it went through. Like he goes, okay, Order 66. like Palpatine actually did it." I remember that from somewhere. I just can't put my finger if it was a novel or a comic.
But in the canon, was he aware of how it was going to be pulled off? Because I mean, he was gone before the clones were even ordered.
Right.
So I mean, I'm sure he didn't know how it was all going to take place.
What? Yeah.
Well, didn't he die like right when they were ordered? Like it was all timed out, right? Like he was like found out the plan and then died. perhaps.
Well, yeah,
right?
his presence.
They were all in play.
And then
Dooku was in play at the same time Maul was. Right? They were all. He had Palpatine had all of his pieces in place.
Oh yeah. Like Ernie, what's up, man? Welcome.
What's up, Ernie?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Of course, we're talking Darth Maul and the Darth Maul series, and I would like. I think if I'm getting this right, and I think that's probably one of the main reasons why when Sidious lost Maul, it was kind of like, well, he wasn't he was a soldier, he was an assassin, but hey, I'm moving forward. I got bigger things to do because again, Dooku was already, disenfranchised, and it was probably already
tried to go back. He tried to go back to Sidious even, and Sidious kicked his ass.
Basically, So
and his brothers,
and part of that betrayal of Maul to Sidious and everything, it was we got a lot of that because when him and Savage teamed up, there was that we're going to go after the Emperor, we're going to go after everybody. I think even when he confronted Kenobi again and died, like, is he the chosen one? Is he gonna destroy these guys? Because I was part of this plan, but I was kicked to the curb, and it's just cool. I think Maul's story, just like Ahsoka's, has become very complicated and very cool and like different. You know what I mean? It just became like an epic, ever-growing thing where, like I said, especially Maul's story, it got very interesting.
They took and wasted he wasted a character.
Yeah,
he did, which is not so odd for him because he wasted Boba Fett in the originals.
Yeah,
right. So it was kind of the same MO.
But did you hear like George Lucas said that when he turned in his paperwork for 7, 8, and 9, Maul was going to be the bad guy. Like he already had these.
I did see that. Yeah.
And he was involved in Maul's return,
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and I
just
think
meant movie wise, right? Because like I said, we talked about it several times in this show. The goal, the thought was Maul is going to make it to this third episode or end of the second.
Right.
Anakin was going to whoop his ass and take his place next to the Emperor's side, and then we'd have full Vader for half a movie.
I mean, doesn't that sound awesome?
It sounds great, but no, we got
incredible.
After years and years, I've gotten better with Dooku. I like Dooku now.
Oh
right? But when you go from Maul to Dooku as the threat, it was a letdown. And it was at this point, I love Dooku. But
the Clone Wars, the Clone Wars helped Dooku.
Just like the Clone Wars, the book,
a lot.
The book helped a ton too, and really these last shorts helped even more. I loved them. The last the last tales.
It's just funny because, we've got Darth Maul's beginning. We know where he ends. And we know somewhere towards the end, he's also leading, Crimson Dawn. Yeah. I'm sorry. I keep getting Crimson Dawn and Black Sun mixed up. But yeah, he's
don't forget Black Hole Sun.
Black Hole Sun.
Number
one hit.
Wash away the rain. Yeah. I mean, we know we've got these beats we've got to hit in order to flesh out his story. Now, are we going to end up getting his entire life story like we have Ahsoka's over the years?
Dude? I honestly, I'm going to say yes, and here's why. And there's two things that we need for Maul, and one Joey brought up the dialogue in Solo. I'm a firm believer you can't let that go, even if it's a Tales of Crimson Dawn or a Crimson Dawn animated, whatever. You have to go meet me on Dathomir. Kira's story has to continue on Dathomir with Darth Maul. And I absolutely would love an origin story of Darth Maul. Because if it mimics any part of Darth Plagueis' book, which it can still, I think, being left on the doorsteps of Sheev, and he raised him as an assassin, basically. I mean, you could still, I don't think they've ruined that yet on the origins of Darth Maul too much.
I don't think so.
So again, a Tales of would be awesome, but Shadow Lord could really be an overall, like you guys were saying, it could be set in this thing, but we can get
his whole story
forward, and we can get some origin for it, or a season 2 of it. And I think honestly, bad guys do great, villains do great, and I think that I don't think they're cooler. I don't think they're exactly. I don't think they're going to just limit it. You know what I mean? I really don't. And I think it might carry on with the Tales of. So you have Shadow Lord, and then you'll have Tales of I don't know. I mean, Crimson Dawn or something. But
I mean, we know he ends up on Dathomir, right? Meet me on Dathomir. We know that's where We know that's where Kanan and Ezra and Sabine found the Darksaber. They found the Darksaber on Dathomir after Solo, right? So we know it ends up there. We also know that Grand Admiral Thrawn and his troop, they're all headed towards Dathomir as well. You know, could it all tie together? Could there be something there that Maul was building? In fact, you know, with the magic pit that he was bringing people back to life, or it was the ghosts of the Night Sisters and all that. I mean, we're getting very mystical with Darth Maul and
because the next
and that last Asajj short showed you, right? Like, why wouldn't they come and speak to Maul too?
All the possibilities and everything, and
it just feels like it can all connect now, right? I mean, we're fans of Star Wars connecting things, right? And those threads from Maul to Thrawn could connect in such interesting different ways.
Yeah, as much as I would love for like certain story or time frames to move on and stuff, there, like I said, there's still some. Maul is like one thing that like Maul and Plagueis would be like the two that I would like. No, let's live in those worlds for a little bit, you know.
And we should, and you know what, we should get the tie-in like you said right there. Mother Talzin should show up in both.
Yes.
Right. And that'd be something cool to get in live action in the Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm still going on like Tony Gilroy saying that they're working on a horror series or whatever it is. And like I said, Plagueis and Maul make perfect sense. A lot of people say Darth Vader, but like I think the unexplored areas are those two right there.
The Night Sisters or
100% Night Sisters, and like Dathomir is such an important planet these days, you know, especially when it comes to Ahsoka going forward.
Surprisingly,
yeah.
Scott said threads, acolyte reference.
Oh,
it was unintentional, but
deep cut.
They could be the foundations of the Night Sisters. No,
let's see. Ted Trooper is saying Maul's journey would be great. Yeah, absolutely.
Is it Ted Trooper or TD3?
It's TD3. But
I just call him Ted Trooper.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Stu John, Darth Plagueis novel should be required reading. I 100% agree, and I think it should be adapted into canon ASAP.
Yep,
100%.
It wouldn't take much adaptation to really make it fit.
No, it's very, very little. Very little.
Yeah.
Fraud. Yeah, Maul was supposed to be the crime lord leader in George's sequels. He would have been pulling strings on Darth Talon. Would have been the enforcer.
We're still getting Talon.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's funny because you know, I don't really think of the tattoos being tattoos, right? I always think they were kind of just there because we saw Savage with them, we saw other people with them, but she doesn't have them yet.
Zabrak
in the trailer, she will get them. She's not. She's green in the trailer, right? Am I missing that?
What trailer?
I'll need to watch it again. I don't remember.
Darth Talon's in the trailer. They said that's who it's going to be.
Oh,
have they confirmed?
Have they asked Whitwer,
that's who it is?
No. They asked Whitwer, and the problem is Whitwer wouldn't say a damn thing.
Well, it makes
when you definitely start talking about, I'll answer the next question, the next question, the next like that. That's how he was, and smiling by doing that. It's Talon.
Okay,
right.
And that's the other thing too. Is
well,
I do
sure. Ernie,
what?
Ernie, is it Darth Talon?
I don't know. I do remember telling you guys it was going to be an animated show, but you were going to be surprised on what type of animated show. So I don't know.
I'm not telling.
Yeah.
I'm not telling.
That's a great thought, though.
That's funny.
Maybe Darth Maul has another brother.
Fine. Another brother. Another brother.
What I was getting at, though, was what we need, though, is more people like Whitwer in working on Star Wars, right? It's like Freddie Prinze Jr. and Whitwer and Rosario Dawson, these people who are fans, who know the lore, who are invested in these characters, to go out and speak on these things too, because they drive up the excitement.
That didn't happen, or
they're educated on it.
And they're educated on it, and they're able to speak without any kind of agenda about the situation and about the shows and about the lore behind it. And I think that we need more people like that in Star Wars. Right?
Yeah,
I think we're lucky to have those because it is better.
I agree.
Because they're not speaking about them in the show. They're speaking like, wait till you see what happens. And I love the time that we're in for that to be available right now. Mm-hmm. You know, with John and everybody running the scenes for right now, it's like, with that, they're like allowing it. Like, yeah, we're all fans here. We all get together, and this is how it's going to be. we get our Marvel stuff, and right now it just seems like there's too many people in there, and they're just promoting, or that's it. They get asked these questions. Where they ask these questions, they're like, "Oh, I don't know," and it's a very simple question. To where here, like
get out.
Chris is saying the smiling and the next question and the what is there, because you do know something, and it means more than just like he's Maul. Imagine everything that he's spoken and done, and now he's like, "Oh God, I can't wait to tell you."
Yeah, my respect for
that's what we need.
Sam Witwer skyrocketed when he basically said, "Hey, time out. Which saber is Darth Maul carrying?" Because there's a different, I think it was in Solo, right? So he's gonna grab a saber, and he actually called it out like, "Hey, you need to use this saber because of these time frames." And people were like, "Okay."
There was earlier where Rhino had made a comment. Do we think we would have got more live action Maul if it hadn't been for?
For his antics. I think so.
Well, you know what though? In this time that we're in, it's makeup and paint, and somebody else can also do it. Wow.
Yeah, need his voice. So
I think so, but I think having Sam in there with that heart is better. So go ahead.
Yeah,
we can wait on that live action and give us this for right now.
I like animated Maul better.
Yes,
because at this point, it's always going to be a live action body. And we're voicing it now, right? That's how it would be, and that's no fun. You don't want that.
Here's
animated, crazy Maul.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though, is even after his behavior, he went in and he did the motion capture fight scenes, right, in Clone Wars. So I mean, are we going to get that again? Is Ray Park coming back for motion capture fight scenes as Darth Maul, or have we moved on? Have we?
It's tricky.
Do we have somebody else, right? Because he has a very distinct fighting style.
Correct. So I think we could get that. He doesn't have to do anything. Sam plays it, but then does he screw himself again and get upset of that? Of why was I just doing the fight?
I don't think he cares about that at all. That's his job. As long as he gets a little kick there, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah. Well, he is going back to the autograph scene and everything right now.
Yeah. So he's back on socials.
Well, here's a question for you guys then. Here's a question for you guys then with this Shadow Lord. Do you want it to be more of the same, or do you want it to be more emotional and in depth, where it's like a
I don't need Maul fighting a bunch right now. Maul force powers is more interesting to me than Maul lightsaber duels. I've seen Maul lose enough lightsaber battles where
everyone,
except for Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
But
you know what I mean? Though, like,
I'd rather go the psychological, but him force choking people. I want to see him like doing like just mean force things.
Yeah.
Getting people to do things that they don't want to do, mind tricking them. That kind of shit.
Because here's the thing. I mean, this is not as sacrilegious to say this, but like one of my favorite scenes of Darth Vader is his hallway scene. I think that epitomized Darth Vader, propelled it to the top for myself. Now, do I want a whole series of just Darth Vader scenes, hallway scenes? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's gonna get like, look, man, he's one dimensional at this point.
Yeah.
And a lot of people argue with me. It's like, that's, we want more Vader, and we're just killing, decapitating people. But I'm like, but there's more to it. There's more to it. And like I said, Darth Maul has become a very complicated character. He's not one dimensional anymore. And we've seen it through Rebels. We've seen it through the Clone Wars. And the reason why we want those bookends on his life is because, yes, we know he could fight. We know he can kick ass. But I think there's more to him than that. You know what I mean? So I'm okay if it was a very more quieter version of Maul. But I mean, I'm sure it's going to have those elements.
Let him be the Sith master or the whatever master to Talon.
Yeah.
Right. Let Talon do some of the fighting. If there's any fighting to be had, they shouldn't be fighting a bunch of Jedi at this point, unless you're hitting some that are running away and you run into like the cool ones.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure he's going to defend himself.
Right. But he's not going out for duels like before.
No,
you're not going to get the big him versus the Emperor and Savage and Obi-Wan and Anakin. You're not going to get all that shit again.
Right. It's not in the open. Yeah. No, it's going to be cool, man.
Anakin him never fought, huh? Never. It was always Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
That would have been a big deal.
Yes, it would.
It would have been over very fast.
Yeah, that would have been Vader versus Maul.
Yeah. We need to go back real fast. I mean, like I'm going to reiterate, but Chris and I theory crafted episode 1 before we saw it, and we were like, Darth Maul. We saw him. I bought the jersey, $100 for the jersey. We had everything. He was on the packaging everywhere, and we were talking about like, dude, would it be awesome if it's like, after Vader, because we thought Anakin was going to turn Vader very fast, like maybe at the end of episode 1, and so we have 2 and 3 of it really, fermenting.
10-year-old Anakin.
No, we didn't think it was going to be like 10-year-old anything.
We figured it was coming in. He was in the Clone Wars. We thought we were starting in the middle of a war.
Basically, episode 2 had been episode 1, right? But then like fast forward, but then like having a competition of the Emperor in the middle, almost like Mortal Kombat style, right? Like the Emperor's sitting there and it's Vader versus Maul to get the right hand side. Yeah, I mean that's how we were like, man.
Could you imagine if Attack of the Clones would have been episode 1, Revenge of the Sith would have been episode 2, and then episode 3 would have been just holy hell, Star Wars Order 66, right? I mean, it's just
hunting down
Jedi Purge.
As long as you have the pod race,
the Jedi Purge,
I'm cool. Like just put the pod race in there. It doesn't have to be Anakin, but I need a 15-minute pod race. If we're doing that route.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm so cool. I'm cool.
Hey, I know it's a long shot and it's just fan service when they do it. They won't.
Yeah.
But could we get a Vader Maul? I mean, it's post Order 66. Even if it's just for a minute, there's no reason to ever have to mention it again.
Yeah.
Right? So we can say, we never heard about this. That's fine. Right? Because you never have to talk about it. We just learn about it now. Just one? That would be the ultimate thing. Like if all of a sudden they pulled off who the hell is this? Vader turns a corner and they see each other and have to go at it, and somehow Maul escapes. But you know what I mean? We got to see it at some point. I think this is the last opportunity to see Vader Maul.
I mean, 100%, dude. And it wouldn't destroy anything because these are, like I said, he's the Shadow Lord. He's going into the shadows, and Maul is very good at disappearing and coming back when he needs to.
Because what kind of cool conversation would that be, though? His old apprentice that got shed on. His new apprentice that probably feels shit on, right? They both banter, So it would be an Anakin and him never fought. So this would be their first meeting. It'd be pretty cool. And I think about this. Does Maul know who Anakin is?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, does Anakin said you killed my master, like he killed Qui-Gon.
I mean, he knows Vader is Anakin, is what I mean.
I believe so. Well. Okay, so he knew that Anakin in Clone Wars season 7, he knew that Anakin was trying to get Anakin there, not Ahsoka, because he knew that Anakin was Palpatine's pet project.
That's right.
He
was trying to tell Ahsoka about Anakin.
Yeah, so he knows whether or not he knows that's once the name of Vader is revealed, then
that'd be cool, right? Because they could have that'd be some cool dialogue between the two of them.
Could be
blades out, walking around in a circle.
Does he know Sidious is Palpatine?
Yes,
does he knows that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Because I still laugh on that where I'm like, dude, people still don't know that Palpatine is the Darth Lord. Like, I always forget that. I feel like all the time, like everybody just knows. Like, there's just a huge statue out front of his yard, that just says Darth Lord.
Is that the dude from Naboo? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's interesting is like because of the comic books, like we obviously know that Vader has no love towards the Emperor. I mean, the Emperor is a commanding force in his life. Like if Maul and Vader had met, right, and if Maul said, "Look, you're not my goal, but the Emperor is," and Vader probably was like, I never saw you kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like you never were here. You know what I mean? That would be a very dynamic conversation.
Can we take him?
Yeah. Like,
right?
Maybe Vader has the upper hand on Maul, but then like kind of, in their conflict, doesn't pursue him because it's like, look, and Maul could say like, you are not my end game. Like Sidious is my end game.
How do you get those two at the same place?
I mean,
there's same time though. Like
we've got 10 years of unexplored. Well, no, I mean, between episode 3 and Kenobi, we don't have anything.
Or Solo, right? You're right.
Yeah.
Or 18 years before the death of Maul. I mean, there's a whole lot of space in there
with those two. And like I said, therefore Vader wouldn't ever mention it because he's like whatever.
But we're at 1 year. This shows at 1 year. Yeah. So Vader's early on looking for Force users and looking for anything, so he can get a report. And he's hunting down with Inquisitors, right? We're for sure going to get Inquisitors. There's zero doubt in my mind about that. But I mean, there'd stand to reason that Vader runs the Inquisitors. He could potentially cross paths, especially if Maul takes 1 or 2 out.
Right.
Well, we know we're getting Merrick to begin with, right? Merrick
you're right,
in the
you're right.
trailer. Yeah,
that's right.
Do we ever know where Inquisitors came from?
Well,
yeah,
like mommy Inquisitors and daddy Inquisitors really love it.
If they hate
when
each
I
other
watched
enough,
this before, loves our daddy Inquisitor.
if they hate each other enough. No, like for reals, like was there an application process or whatever?
Most were ex-Jedis.
No, I know that. No, I'm saying like who got to become an Inquisitor? Like what was the hiring process of that? Because what if Maul was asked to be an Inquisitor at one time?
Oh,
and he's like, no.
Interesting.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's like a real option.
They're probably you're on the not rehire list though.
That's true. Huh?
Let's see. He had the experience. He had
so that's what I'm saying. That's what I always wonder. We know who Inquisitors are, but where
he's got a resume of getting. He's got a resume of getting cut in half and losing every battle he's ever fought. So I mean,
that's another plus. He got amputated, so that's another.
Yeah, you're definitely you're getting that.
I'm flexible. I don't miss days. I don't miss days at work. I come right back. Look at me.
His hollow picture comes up with the red bar across it. And, ooh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. in the Tales of the Empire.
Yeah.
They kind of had
Barasafi.
Barasafi, which was in prison and kind of approach. Hey, you want to be basically hunt down the Jedi now? Like,
that's true, but that's what I'm saying. So if Maul's around, like he had to have been asked.
No. Maul is never around the Empire anymore. After he
probably avoids after he fought the Emperor.
Yeah, after the whole everything, he's basically kill on sight with the Empire.
And I don't think the Emperor wants him back. He made it clear. I think he wanted him out of the way.
Stewed on Jedi. He's definitely on the no-fly list, and that reminds me of a story of from Chris, who I hope sometime in the podcast today can share his adventure, his Return of the Jedi adventure with the crowd. I think that would be very.
Yeah,
I'm not on the no-fly list.
Why Return of the Jedi and no-fly lists? What that means? Yeah,
we'll save that for the end. See, Chris can have story time. It's actually very funny.
It is very funny.
It's funny now, right, Chris?
It's funny now. I was pissed off then.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah.
I came back to work and told that story. They're all just like at work. I'm like, dicks. I'm like, fucking hate everybody. So yeah. Okay.
But anyway, back to Maul. There's a lot there. There's still a lot there, which is great because again, it's got us talking about all these possibilities. It's got the chat talking about all kinds of things and tie-ins with Merrick. I see Afra there. I mean, there's a lot of things because there's Vader tie-ins. That's if Vader's even going to be mentioned or touched in this.
Yeah, that would just be this is a one opportunity we have, right? This is also watch this. Yeah. This is also where we're going to get Hondo for no reason, right? Because every other show has had complete reason to have Hondo. 100% could have explained it. I needed it in there.
You're right. You're 100% right. Too.
All of a sudden, we'll be like, "Why is Hondo talking to Darth Maul?"
Yeah, you're and like this is it.
Yeah, this is what we get. God damn it.
Hell Runner base, Chris and no fly list doesn't surprise me one bit.
It was close, but I can still fly.
I think it was TD3 Trooper had mentioned about the time frame on this, like why this is 2026, right? Like we've got the Return of Mando Grogu in the theaters of next May. We've got the Shadow Lord coming out. We have, I don't know if Ahsoka 2 is coming out next year, but I think it might be. Yeah, 2026 is like a huge year, and there's this gap in between, right? And so I was talking about this with somebody the other day, like. I actually don't mind a gap. Even a year gap or a year and a half, I really don't, because I've told you guys before, I like living in the worlds of this, right? Theory crafting and seeing what we've got so far and putting everything in its place and living in the world of Star Wars for a long time before we get something new. And before it's like every 3 months a series and it just disrupts it, because that's all, because we tend to take shows like Andor or Ahsoka, and when we're viewing them and putting in its proper place, but we really don't really get a chance to really sit on it, right? And when we revisit Star Wars and everything else. So I kind of do like this gap. Now, I think it's smart. I really do think it's a smart retraction for Disney to be like, all right, look, we're gonna and Scott brought this up in our personal chat. We're going to withdraw a little bit from the live stuff and put those live stuff as could be theater. And my question is Disney Plus going to be heavily leaned on animation after Ahsoka 2? Is Ahsoka 2 going to be the last live action Disney Plus for Star Wars? And then animation lives on Disney Plus, and then the theaters are all live action, and it's going to be just blockbuster movies or perceived blockbuster movies from now on. Or are we going to get both again, or all three? And animation, live action, Disney Plus.
I kind of want them to stick to, if they're going to shift over to film for their live action, I would like them to stay there, because I'm afraid they're going to play the Marvel route, and you'll have events happening in TV shows that won't even get referenced in films, right? Big earth-shattering, monumental moments happening in Disney Plus, and nobody even sneezes about it in a film. I look at the multiverse of madness versus what happened with Loki and all of that. And you would think we're dealing with multiverses. Why isn't this all tying together? It still might with Doomsday, which I've seen some behind the scenes stuff from Doomsday, which looks really interesting. But I don't think I'm afraid that Disney will take that same route, or Lucasfilm will take that same route, as not committing wholeheartedly to the full story, right? We're getting Mando Grogu, yes, in a film, but what are they going to reference? Are they going to reference anything that happened before in the TV show, right?
And are they leading up to the Heir to the Empire? Is it still linked into this master plan?
Yeah, or did that master plan shrink into like a 2-year time frame to wrap it up too?
And is this Mando Grogu, to his point, is it just a movie just to have people in there? It's a popcorn movie not linked to shit.
I mean,
right. Is that what you're saying? Like, it's no linkage at all. It's just there.
Yeah, because we also know that they're working on Dave Filoni's film, right? That's supposed to wrap up the whole Mando verse and the Heir to the Empire, which I'm thinking is not the same thing, or is that?
I think it's the same thing. I think it's more of a connection of how I see it is Mando plus Ahsoka series, right equals Heir to the Empire,
right? But is that
all my new rebels plus these guys are?
Is that Dave Filoni's film, or is that something else? Because
I think it's Filoni's film.
Is that Filoni's film? Okay.
I think they kind of always said that culminates in Dave Filoni's film.
Right.
That's how I remember it. Yeah. And I think that's, it stands to reason that it's Heir to the Empire.
Right.
So
yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. It's a weird transitional period, especially for Star Wars, because we're looking at Star Wars, right? So because even you've got Starfighter coming out in 2027, is that, and it's supposed to have zero ties to anything. It's a standalone, whatever. And again, here we are bouncing around where it's like this main, you got your main timeline, and then you have these, spin-offs.
Yeah,
the skeleton crew. So you got the skeleton crew, right?
Yeah.
And Starfighter is a weird one when you say it like that, because like you need a big tentpole event film or
maybe working towards something. I think if you're going to make it all cohesive,
standoff Starfighter after or near a Rogue Squadron.
Yeah,
it just isn't.
They must have on paper two separate things going on, right? Like they have the post sequel stuff. They're the Rey trilogy. We call it the Rey trilogy, but the Rey movies moving forward. Starfighter could be.
I call it the Kylo trilogy. Whatever you said.
The Kylo trilogy. I like that better. I will go with that. But Starfighter could be the bridge to that, which is like a whole separate entity, has nothing to do with what we're talking about with Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and Heir the Empire, like this world in between the two trilogies. So I don't know. As somebody who's on this side of it, I think it's smarter to just play in this sandbox and then move on to a different sandbox moving forward and not bounce around anymore. For continuity issues and people's enjoyment of going to the theater and going like, what is this? Where are the people I just saw 3 months ago on this movie? Right? Like this is a whole set of characters, a whole set of planets. We can do that seamlessly. But
can the Muggles?
No, they can't, because and I'm not taking it away from him. Just saying it's not fair to this.
You sure didn't answer that fast, though.
Sure. I'm very good. I apologize for
nothing. They
can't. But again, we still have Ahsoka 2, which is dedicated to Disney Plus live action. Okay, we have that now.
I think that's the last one in production, isn't it? I mean, it's the last one that we know of that's being worked on.
Yeah.
So the thought
action.
is they just, I would be okay. I'd be okay with doing it that way. Give me movies, give me big movies, fill it in with animation. I like that. But I also don't miss the plan. Like DC just kind of put out their plan a little bit, right? Or Gunn kind of alluded to it. There's like, was it 2 movies, 2 shows, and 1 animation a year?
Right. Yes.
And that's the plan. And it will all culminate into a Infinity War type thing. Right. So it's kind of like, that's a good plan. You don't need to think about 5, 6, but make them all kind of link. What Star Wars is doing kind of bad right now is Starfighter over here, Skeleton Crew over here, Acolyte over here. Here's some stuff 1 year after Order 66. Here's some pre-Andor stuff. You know, it's like, we're all over the.
I get asked all the time, like, Acolyte, where's Darth Vader? And it's like, okay, here we go, right? You know,
you need a whiteboard for that. Okay, theory time.
Yeah,
not even a twinkle in the Force's eye yet.
It's a great idea to bounce around this entire timeline, say spanning 35,000 years of Star Wars. We can do it; it's no problem. But I think it's like I said, their best interest to wrap up a certain era.
Yeah, play in one box at a time. You have a million years ahead of you.
Yeah,
right. Like people will like Scott told me that day. It's going to last past me.
Yeah.
So just focus right now for 10 years in one time frame. Then the next 10 years is you have an easier time than Marvel because Marvel has to stay within a 20-year frame, right? Because you're
the actors,
right. With Star Wars, you can go back 35,000 years.
Yeah,
you know, you can go forward as many years as you want. You can do whatever because it's not Earth. You know, so these guys are stuck in a time frame. We're not. So go at it. I don't know, man. We're in a much better position than most of the other ones, and we blow it.
We're in a better
but
position.
But now we are kind of stuck in a time frame though because we link it all together. Where does it play in our timeline? And that's the sucky part right now is we need to stop everything else to answer all of these questions to get that Darth Maul series that we have nothing about because everything links together. Like we need all this extra to stop to go ahead and link together because you're right, Moocher. Everybody does ask that. So we're a Skeleton Crew. Who is that? No, that was just a side story. You know, we're getting Starfighter. What is that? The Acolyte. You're right. Where is that? Because everybody just knows now it was the old Vader, 4, 5, and 6. So now people are barely just starting to go to that. So they are asking that question to where like the Marvel stuff and DC, we grew up on comics. We had so many Spider-Man, so many Batman. Everybody knows that story, but nobody knows our Vader story. So they immediately ask, so where's Darth Vader and where's Yoda? Because that's kind of like the basis of it, right?
Sure.
We need to stop. Wars, we need to stop all that for us, like they're saying, to go ahead and continue this timeline that we're in and get these answered.
Yeah, wrap it up. Stay here, stay focused.
Yes.
The problem is it is one time frame. It's just that they're using it in a very big time frame.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Skywalker generations.
Yeah.
It's 3 generations is the problem with 3 generations.
Yeah. I bring this up, and this is why I bring it up, is because it's a Disney property. Disney's worldwide, right? If Star Wars was doing its own thing and it was just, I wouldn't say, I don't care where they jump. But I'm talking as a conglomerate like Disney and the umbrella that how big it is and how Star Wars is worldwide and how big it is for their best interest to keep it a multi-trillion-dollar IP, whatever it is, then they really have. That's why they're always in flux, right? They're always going like, okay, we retract, we're going to do things. For us, I mean, just like Bly said, we don't care as long as it's a good story. We just want it to be good. We don't want cheesy moments in Star Wars. We want them to think about what they're doing. And if it takes your time, quality over quantity. We've been preaching that. But now our top
cheese.
Some, I mean, there's Star Wars cheese, and then there's like J.J. Abrams. Okay, you know what I mean. But we're forced to have this talk about this IP and Disney nowadays because we're directly involved in it. Meaning, the reason why they're going back to the theaters, it's not for us. It's because the world isn't catching on. It's not working. The way they're putting out content isn't working in the big picture. Disney Plus, like someone said in the chats, Disney Plus is hurting right now. There's not a lot going on in Disney Plus. It's a model that has to be refreshed every single day. And so
that's huge because I log in every night to see, okay, what do I want to watch? And it's the same things.
It's the same stuff. I mean, but behind the scenes drops, cool. That's an hour, and so that's an hour every 3 months that dedicated to, unless I'm doing watching Star Wars, whatever, and I will go through Disney Plus that just to get those numbers, just whatever. But again, it's an issue that we're forced to bring into our talk, right? Yes, we're going to put everything in its place, but now we're looking at the business side of a lot of it too, because again, the promise and look, I feel because of what they've done in this gap, I do feel that not just Disney and not just Star Wars, but movie theaters in general, a lot is riding on this Mando Grogu movie to put people back in the theaters, the theater experience, and saying, look, we recognize it. Studios are recognizing it. We need to actually concentrate on this again. Otherwise, it's going to die. Next year is important. We have Doomsday and we have Mando Grogu. Those two are the big blockbusters, and well, the big ones, right? The ones that Robert Downey Jr. is back. Oh, everybody's going to go for that. Mando Grogu, it's worldwide, and it looks good. It's very popular, even if it's a side mission, epic, fun adventure. It's going to work or it's not. Yeah, and like I said, I think Hollywood is looking at it too. Going,
do you think to this Mando and Grogu? Do you think it also everything does, mind you, everything runs this risk that people will just wait and be like, it'll be on Disney Plus in 4 months? I get Mando and Grogu for free most of the time. Why am I going to go pay $15 a head for the 5 of us? Or $10 a head for the 5 of us.
They need to bring it back to like 8 months instead of 3.
Because it's really fast, right? Like I haven't seen Thunderbolts yet, but you know what? I know I'm gonna soon. By August, I'm gonna be watching Thunderbolts in my house.
Every property now, every movie that's out now, it's like, oh, I'll wait on video on demand because it's coming. But like when we were kids, it was an 8-month kind of gap. A little bit longer.
Superman is doing a like preview on Amazon, I think Amazon Prime or something like that. It's like what? Why?
Yeah, that ruined it right there. I mean, you've killed the blockbuster.
I think you've got to be able to see it. You see it on the big screen, and then access to the big screen gives you access to Prime. So somehow they're tying it together, but it's like
this is where Hollywood needs to make pick a lane, right? Because and I talk about Hollywood about movie making in general. They need to pick a lane. If they want people in the seats of the theaters and preserve that experience, then they have to stop saying yes to Amazon, saying yes to Netflix, saying yes to HBO, and say, no, you're going to get it. Yeah. And we're going to get it. And we're going to make a physical copy. And when that physical copy is out, then the video on demand can come out. They're powerful enough to do that. You know what I mean? But it's the fast money, man. It's the fast buck. Amazon's like, here's $70 million to get that exclusive. And they're like,
that's it right there.
And then complain about nobody goes to the theater. It's like
Netflix is funding movies. It's like I saw the trailer for Happy Gilmore 2, and it's like a Netflix funded movie, right? Yeah. They're the ones who are bankrolling these things now.
Beverly Hills Cop 4 was Coming to America 2. They're all, this. Yeah, there were these movies that should have been in the movie theater, and again, they're the only ones shooting themselves in the foot. Like we're not.
It's crazy because I don't understand how they make money on that because it's not there.
It's the business model is $14.99 a month.
The ones that they're doing have really turned it truly to the Truman Show. As Eddie Murphy says, do you have a Coca-Cola Classic in the back? Like, because they're putting out all these brand names, like saying the full name now in movies. And it is really weird. I just saw one recently where I thought it was a joke and it wasn't. They said the full name of the product. And I was like, oh my God, I was waiting for like a punchline and it wasn't. They literally said the full product name and everything. And I was like,
oh, they do that on TV all the time. It's Julie and I were watching NCIS something, and they were talking about the new Kia that they were driving. And look at this; it has a computer navigation system. I'm like, are we kidding right now?
MSRP $33,000.
I know. It's.
Do you ever catch those reels about the original Star Wars when it was on TV?
Oh,
how, like, was Columbia or somewhere, wherever the hell it was, right? And they had to do product placement. And you have Obi-Wan pulling out a beer instead of a lightsaber.
They're like, R2, give me my meal, my drink back. R2.
Did you guys ever watch the show Chuck on I think it was on NBC. It was Zachary Levi. Yeah, exactly. Fantastic show, but they did a whole thing where it was Subway, and Subway was one of their major sponsors, but they made a joke out of it every time. I mean, they made it work because it was so over the top stupid.
Yeah, right.
But
that's
it.
Yeah, it's the Happy Gilmore made fun of it this whole cold cut sandwich. I mean, yeah, it's Look, man, everything is sponsored, everything is corporate, you know, which is okay. We can buy into that stuff, but again, you know, if
it's blatant, though, I mean, it's like, oh my god,
yeah, I don't know why people do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wish there was a podcast that could tell us all these great Star Wars things.
Yeah.
Sarlacc Digest tastes great, less filling.
It's hard to go back to the movie theater because nobody wants to people anymore. Nobody wants to go with you. We don't line up.
People are the worst.
You pick your seats, so we're not lining up anymore.
Yeah.
There's 30 minutes of previews, no matter what, and everybody knows that. So like,
not just previews, commercials.
Yes.
And previews.
Yeah.
I like,
and everybody knows that. So now
car commercial.
the movie started into where we're all sitting engaged. Now, excuse me, because they show up late on purpose. And like you were set ready to watch it, even though you sat through those 30 minutes of commercials.
Yeah,
it's just weird. Or delivering the food to your seats, like they're trying everything.
You just really reminded me that I don't like movie theaters.
Well, there you go.
You're just because you look at the immersion. I'm better here immersed in my living room.
Yes,
right, than I am there because you're right. That what pisses me off more than you want to take a swing at somebody is like people in a movie theater.
Yeah,
like then all of a sudden their light goes on. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pitch dark.
The phone
light on. What are you reading right now?
I would pay more. I don't mind paying more if I knew that the theater took more responsibility and told people to shut up, told people, like physically went up to them and said, turn that off, please. You know, that's the first warning. Next time we'll just escort you out. Because I've seen theaters do that in the past. I've seen it. But those at the time, it was like $15 a ticket. But I'm like, I will pay more to make sure the theater gave a little bit more of a shit too. You know what I mean? Like clean it. And
they were real ushers then. They were real ushers then, sitting down there with their flashlight, telling you, "Get your damn baby out."
And I don't
here.
mind it, dude. Like that used to be that was like now the dollar store back in the day. Now it turns into the regular experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
right.
The last movie that I just saw, literally, there was a kid crying the whole time, and I was this close to be the one of shut that baby up.
Yeah,
but nobody else was, and I was like,
"It was Blue's Clues. It was the Blue's Clues movie. I'm sure of it."
It's because nobody can tell anybody anything.
That's exactly what it
nobody's
was.
ever going to offend somebody, upset. That goes right into that story. I'll tell you all later.
It was a D-box theater, so it was loud as hell already, but you still heard this damn baby.
Damn baby!
I can't believe.
I agree, man. I'm a movie goer, and I love the experience. I love the smell of the popcorn, the carpet, the stadium seat, everything. I mean, I love that experience. But I told you guys, I was the one that went 40 to 50 times a year and watched movies, probably over and over. And ever since COVID, maybe 3-4 movies a year now I go. You know what I mean? I just wait because again, it's so fast on VOD on demand. And again, we're just responding as an audience to what they're giving us. They're the ones giving it to us 3 months in advance or early or advanced copy.
When it's our Star Wars, we buy out a theater.
That's right, because we can control it. You know what I mean? And
better thing, we're there with the people we know want to watch it. We can tell somebody, you know, hey, get your kid out of here. Sorry.
Which is probably what we're going to end up doing when Mando Grogu comes out. Is we're going to end up buying out a theater.
We're already doing that. So everybody in the pit, we're getting a movie theater. We're going to rent it out, and we're going to have a kick-ass time. We're going to stand in line for like 5-10 hours before. We're going to have
podcasting
food.
live.
We're going to just do it up, man. It's our return. Alexander Storm checking in. Yeah, I would pay more as sitting in a movie theater with manners, people with manners.
Hey, you know, last week we went and saw, on our anniversary, we went and saw Lilo and Stitch. We had a great time. The audience was fine. The popcorn was great. It was a great time, but it was also, you know, an 8:00 movie. You know, is that
wow? You
that
really
the difference?
Sold out,
you know,
Scott.
the kid. I did. Actually.
I thought he was going to pull out the popcorn right now. It is great tasting, and it was extra.
Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch in theaters now.
Brought to you by the Sarlacc Digest.
In theaters now.
Yeah. So you did. You had a good experience, which was.
Yeah, I had a
you
great
know what
time.
sucks about that was you got lucky. Like
yeah, I know, man.
You know what I'm saying? Honestly, like
I saw
does
previews
suck
of that
to see
Minecraft movie. I was like, "There's no way in hell." I mean, like I'd be on the 9:00 news. It's just bad.
Yeah,
it'd be very bad.
I mean, when I go now, you know, like seriously, I feel like Scott got lucky. Like now, I'm buying the seat next to me, so nobody sits next to me.
Oh, dude. So there was a group. There was a group of four seats in a row. I bought the two in the middle because I was sure that nobody was going to buy just individuals. I was that asshole that left two individual seats, and you know what? It worked. Nobody sat next.
That's
to us.
right. Yeah.
See?
I hate the apps that don't let you do that. You have to have it next to somebody. Like,
no.
All right. Well, anyway,
I think Chris needs to tell a story. Before
I was getting there. Getting there. Anyway, we wrapped up Darth Maul, and we're gonna look forward to that. And of course, we're explaining this whole gap and everything. But now it's story. We're gonna do a new segment called Story Time with the Grand Admiral. So right. Chris, I know you got to keep it PG.
I'll keep it PG. I might use one or two. I'll keep it clean. Ish.
All right, man. Yeah.
All right. So if you guys didn't know, I won a trip to Belgium on Let's Make a Deal, right? It aired on April 7th. If you have Paramount Plus, it's on there. I'm dressed as a Jedi, the first one up, and I went a trip to Belgium, okay? So we go, and we're on our way. And our first flight is, oh, shit. Put everybody back. I can't.
You can't handle this?
You gotta fix that, bro. There's not that story time.
Yeah.
All right. Need to look you guys.
Smoking jacket.
Yeah, that's back to hot topic. I can't look at myself. So I'm on my way to London right now for the first part of the flight. Okay. And for the first half of this flight, the entire plane is plagued by this one gentleman. Looks kind of homeless, bless him. British dude, wrapped up in a blanket. He's just doing laps and mumbling, right? The major problem with him isn't the mumbling or the laps. It's the fact that when you're dozing, all of a sudden you'll be pulled out of a sleep because of the stench of the man's feet. He's walking around without his shoes on. It's feet funk, dude. And it's not just me. If it's just me, I deal with it, right? But I'm telling you, this whole section of the plane, every time he walks by me, you can see about a 2-foot delay, right, on everybody, like a step and a half. And everybody goes, what the fuck? Sorry, that wasn't even where I wanted to use it.
Yeah, I know.
Dang, that was a wrong spot for that. Yeah, so everybody's bothered. So everybody's complaining to the stewardesses and the steward guy, right? And they're like, hey, this is we can't do anything about it. What are we going to tell him? I'm like, you're going to tell him to put his shoes on. We can't do anything about it. I'm all, if you're not going to, I'm going to. I'm going to end up on a no-fly list, you know? I'm going to say something if I run into this guy. Well, it just so happens like 10 minutes later, I go to the restroom, I come out, and he's mid-lap, and he catches me at my seat, right? And something about, did you see me coming, or I saw you coming, or something. I'm all, well, I'll tell you what. I said, I smelled you coming, right? Because now I'm at my opportunity, right? And he said, he mumbled something back. I'm all, hey, man, you got to cover these up, dude. I said, we can all smell you. And he said something like, at least you don't have to deal with it. I'm all, we're all dealing with it, man. Put your shoes on.
Yeah,
and then he walked off mumbling. Yeah, like it's some kind of disease. He can't put your shoes on, bro. Put your shoes on, cover them. That's all you got to do. Anywho, my wife and I are on the second to last seats on the plane. We're doubled, right? Just the 2 seats. It's nice. And behind us are another 2 seats. But he keeps stopping behind that couple and talking to them and jabbering and stinking up. And that guy's upset. He's complaining. So the steward, he gets the idea that, hey, I'm going to switch the seats. I'm going to put homeboy in the very back and put this couple up there. So now everybody's kind of happy. Well, I hear this going on. I'm like, hey, come here. I said, what's going on here? I'm all, we're going to put him behind you. I'm all, no, you're not. And this is when I was going to probably start using the MF. I'm all, me and that dude already had an altercation. I said, if you put him there, I'm going to be on a no-fly list. I said, you can't put him behind me. It's not happening. And I'm dropping MFs, right? And said, okay. So he's standing in the back now behind those seats, waiting to figure out what's going to go on. The guy next to me, we're aisle and aisle next to each other. He hasn't said nothing, but now he looks back at the dude like, damn. Like that, like kind of stares at him, didn't say nothing, but homeboy loses it, right? So all of a sudden he's in the aisle yelling at that guy, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? And he bumps me. So now I'm hot, dude. I haven't slept all day. We're going over freaking Greenland right now, right? I'm like, and I've been trying to doze. It's an overnight flight. And he touches me, and I put out the biggest, loudest coach voice in an airplane at like whatever 11 p.m. or whatever. I'm all, sit down, right? And he jumps back, and I'm starting to get up, and everybody looks, and I'm starting to get up and start to unbuckle, and he starts yelling at me, and spit hits my head, and I'm like, now he spit on my. Now I'm unbuckled, right? I'm coming up, and the stewardesses are pushing him back. The steward comes up. People are like, da 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 da. I'm all, get him away from me. Deal with this guy, type of thing. So they go in the back. All of a sudden, on the other aisle, you see him run out the back. And the steward has to grab him from both arms and pulls him in the back again. Give it a few minutes. You can hear a bunch of yelling and cussing. They start yelling for help. So me and a couple other dudes, say 3-4 dudes, run to the back. And we're like, what's going on? And we're pushing back through where the aisle is, where they have all the drinks and stuff. And this dude went for the emergency exit at 40,000 freaking feet. so now I'm like, I just knock him out. I'm like, can I take one swing and put this dude down? I'm like, just let me. And but I don't want to do it without permission, because then there's that no-fly list problem, right? They're all, you attack somebody on a plane. I think I would save the plane at that point, but I'm like looking for say yes, but nobody's saying yes. What they ended up doing was they got him to sit down in the back row and then use a restraint kit and put his arms in restraint, strapped him around this seat, tied his arms to the armrest and his legs to the bottom. This dude was stuck, bro. Right? And then you'd think you're kind of cool at this point and I can take a nap. No, because this idiot starts yelling every 5 freaking minutes or less. Every time you get the doze, like he's watching me across the aisle. Like, oh, that dude's getting comfy. Here we go. I'm like, ah, he'd yell, right? Or I'll drop an F-bomb. And at one point, this was the end of my day, and I knew I wasn't going to sleep after because it kind of made me laugh. Well, it definitely made me laugh. Everybody's calm. Everybody's cool. And dude yells, I finally have Return of the Jedi on. That's all I effing wanted all night. And I'm like, what?
And then they became best friends.
I'm laughing, and my wife's like, are you guys going to be friends now?
Yeah.
Dude, because you know Jess, man. This whole time, as soon as I was getting uppity about the first day, she's like, babe. And then when I yelled, she was like, holy shit. She's like, get back.
Yeah. I thought the funny part where you were going to say Jess the whole time was just,
no, dude, nobody's sleeping on that plane, man. This dude yelling, me.
Nobody wanted to watch Return of the Jedi.
He just wanted to watch Return of the Jedi. Didn't sit down and watch Return of the effing Jedi, dude. And then I get stuck in London for a minute because I have to give a report to the police about this clown. Like, wild day.
Did they at least put his shoes on whenever they tied him down?
He got his shoes on before. After I yelled at him, he did put his shoes on. He did for a lap, right? And I even told everybody, because they're all still. I'm like, hey. His shoes are on. I'm straight. Like, that's what I asked. You know, I mean, he did. But then he started going. Then he got louder and louder.
Yeah.
And I left out some things where he's in the back, pacing in the back just behind us, and randomly yelling, like, F. Like, what is with this? Somebody put him out. That's why I was so ready at that point when he went for the door, because I was already ready to knock him out. As soon as he went for the door, I'm like, perfect. Please, sleep.
Green light. Yeah, where's the air marshal? Yeah, like, come on.
I said that. I don't have there's not one on this plane. I'm like, how do you not have an air marshal?
I thought there was supposed to be one on every plane. Yeah.
They said
international, right? Like
nothing, dude. No air marshal on it. It was British Air Marshal. No.
And they just let him run around like that.
Somebody on this plane has to be armed. This dude is crazy. I mean, he wasn't going to get that door open. There's 3 steps. It was so if
it's international,
right?
there was no, what are they called? The gentlemen, right? So nobody was there.
Yeah.
I guess nothing. I guess not. Our big problem was we were worried about getting diverted, man. We're like just hitting up the green. You could quickly turn back to New York. You know?
That ruins your whole flight. Yeah,
the whole shebang.
By the way, it's impossible to open the door at in flight. It's impossible.
Is it like having water outside the pressure?
Yeah, it's the air pressure. Yeah, everything, and it's like there's no way
it would have to get sucked out like it did.
Yeah, it's not like Final Destination, or I mean, you have to have a blowhole in the thing. So that dude was the air marshal.
Yeah, you know what? He was sitting closer to where an air marshal would sit. Come to find out, because he wasn't in my section; he was a section up. Because when we're getting interviewed, the guy next to me, I hadn't seen him the whole flight. I'm all, how do you have a problem with it?
That's funny.
Well, he was sitting next to me. I'm all, was he a problem up there? He's all, dude, he was cussing everybody out. He called me up. See you next Tuesday.
Wow.
You know, and we were just dying. I'm like, this guy was a menace over the plane.
But the whole thing about you just want to watch Return of the Jedi. Everybody
all I wanted to do
collectively like reasoned and was like, okay, I mean, maybe we can be friends.
And I swear to God, at that moment, I had Revenge of the Sith on. So I'm laughing. I'm like, it goes right up my alley, dude.
Crazy, dude.
I'm like, I'm getting there.
Just trying to watch the Starlight Digest.
He was all pissed off because he had the George Lucas cut and he wanted the original. He's like, I thought this was available overseas.
He said, what kind of bullshit song is this at Jabba's Palace?
Yeah, the Jedi Rock song pissed him off. I mean, hey.
Yeah. But in the end, he did say the Ewok change was nice.
No, that
he said Num Nub was some bullshit.
You need to restrain him just on that alone. Oh man,
Chris
adventure.
reached back to loosen his straps a little bit. All right.
Yeah, I just want to watch.
I got you, Chief.
Oh. Well, he just wants to watch Return. Can't we accommodate the man?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I yelled at him.
Sorry, dude.
That's all he wanted. The guy didn't mean to look at him.
If he would have just said that at the beginning, everything would have been fine.
Okay, I got one more dumb story if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
This is my rubber duck. This is my Darth Vader rubber duck who's flipping you off. I got him in Belgium because everywhere I go, I get a silly Darth Vader or something, right? So I'm happy and I grab this duck. We go to a bar. It's sitting on the table next to me, right behind my shoulder here, okay? And Belgium is small, like any kind of British or European country, right? Everything is tiny and packed. So I'm behind the table. I'm stuck next to the wall. Jess is right here. There's a little bit of a long table. A couple is over here that we hung out with during the chocolate tour and the beer tour. Anywho, long story short, sitting here and there's some kind of party going on. Jess is looking at me. We're talking to her. All of a sudden, she's all, "Babe, my what?" She's all, "She took your duck." I'm all, "Who took my duck?" She's all, "That girl just took your duck." I'm all, "Son of a bitch." So I get up, right? And I'm messed. I don't drink, guys. I've been on beer tasting all day, so I'm having trouble getting up in the first place. And I get out and I have to push my big ass past everybody and go through, and the stairs are this wide, right?
Yeah, you are not built for Europe.
Bro, not at all. Not at all. There were bathrooms I couldn't get in. I couldn't turn around in, much less sit in. Never forget it. Anyway, I get to the bottom of these freaking Hobbit stairs, and I'm like, "Hey!" I'm like, "That's my duck." This girl turns around. I'm like, "Give my duck." And she gives it to me and says something in alien. And I'm like, "Just give him my duck." And I walk.
Oh my God, how rude.
Like just pouting. And I held him like a football the rest of the night. He wasn't going anywhere. So that's it. I got
the feature on the duck, though. The chat needs to see the feature.
Okay.
It's hard to see.
Can you guys see what the duck is doing?
There you go.
Hang on.
There you go. All right.
There it is.
Worth
There
it.
it is.
I would chase someone down for that duck too.
And he was 45 euros, dude. I'm not letting that go out the door. That's a lot.
That's like $7,000.
Dude, it's a stupid, money. But I'm like, I go somewhere, I got to get some kind of random Vader, and that's the most random Vader thing I was going to find.
That is in wherever you're across the country and you
right,
find
dude.
a Darth Vader duck.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, in Mexico, I got a marionette, right? In Dominican, I got another wooden puppet, not a puppet, just a statue. In England, I got I just grabbed the stretched Armstrong Vader, but then a couple
man,
years
I remember
ago,
that
Vader's Vader.
and then that one.
That's crazy.
Awesome.
You know the Mexican puppets are possessed, right?
Hell yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's why I left it at Ernie's place.
That's somebody's
house.
steal in there. Yeah.
he hasn't bothered me yet. I mean, if he's here, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
He must be helping out. Things are cool.
Ernie,
The
I just
puppet's
noticed
scared
the
of the
Best
duck.
Star popcorn bucket above you. I
Yeah.
just noticed that right now.
Yeah.
Nice,
I
dude.
love it. That was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, awesome. Thanks for sharing that, man. I'm glad things worked out. You didn't have to you got to go enjoy yourself. And
Want to hear about Amsterdam? No, I'm just kidding.
maybe on the toy chat, you come on and talk about.
We Amsterdam the shit out of it. So that's what you got to hear. That's what's up.
That was
That's
great.
awesome. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much, Ernie. Do your thing, man.
Man.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you,
shut up.
everybody who jumped in the pit tonight. You guys were awesome. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and hit all so you don't miss when we're on, like Monday nights, Wednesday nights, toy reviews, and so much more. You can find us all over the internet on all social medias, but especially go over there and join the brand new what's it called? What are all the cool kids on? The Discord. The Discord. Moocher's over there a lot.
It should be
he can
fixed.
show you
The
where
link
it
should
is.
be fixed.
Oh, is it now?
It
There we
should
go.
be, yeah.
So yeah,
It
invite your
expires.
friends over there for lots of other Star Wars talk, like you don't get enough here, or all the other socials that we have. Thanks to everybody. Welcome back, Chris. That's awesome, Joey. It was nice to have you here again. That is great. I'm glad I was so early tonight.
Remember, 3 times the trend there, Joe.
yeah. Did you make your
Show up one
announcement,
more time.
Mooch?
What's that?
Did you make your announcement?
I did. Oh, I mean, yeah, basically. I mean, Tosche Station is now rebranded as Moocher's 3D printing lab. Everything is the same as far as you can still go to ToscheStation.com for the figure stands and all that stuff, but it's going to be rebranded. I'm trying to get on top of it so I don't get sued later on for using anything Star Wars. I'm just trying to stay ahead of the game. Plus, the my channel is going to be more geared towards 3D printing. It just made sense to do a rebranding, but the link is in the description below. So if where you see Tosche Station is now going to be Moocher's 3D printing lab. So thank you everybody who is supporting me on this venture. I'm having a blast. Thank you.
Yay.
That's it.
Is that it? Oh, you covered it all?
Well, hey,
Way to give you a
3D
promo.
Moocher's 3D print lab prints up amazing action figure stands.
Gonna get time to get used to. I know. We really drilled Tosche Station into everybody's mind. It's still there.
Yeah, I have to go like this. Look, there is stuff he does.
Yeah. Bly. I mean, yeah. You know, hey, it was my fault for even coming up with a cool name in the first place. So
It would be Bly.
yeah.
Sorry, I got mad.
Freaking Bly.
All right, guys.
Next time he's gonna give us $2.
I just saw somebody ask for pictures. I was going to try to send you guys pictures of the guy strapped down.
Oh, that would be
before we left.
Oh, you have a picture?
We kind of. My wife. They yelled. The London police yelled not to take your cameras out. Like they did not want it filmed. I did you try that in America and tell some folks that you're not don't film this.
Oh,
right. But everybody put their phones right the hell down.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Jess is like this. Right, getting So is
I
it
was
a
going to
good
say
picture?
that.
Nah.
I was hoping that you talking about it, my TikTok feed, it was going to come up tonight. Crazy man on plane yells at other crazy man. Yeah,
I searched for it. No, they didn't make a big deal out of me. They knew I was just trying to take care of everybody else. It wasn't, you know, I know I come across.
Otherwise,
you'd
be in these trains too. I get it. Yeah,
they knew why I was doing it. It was like I'm just taking care of us, and you guys can't or won't. So I gave them fair warning. It was coming.
Yeah,
ends up in a lightsaber duel.
Anyway, I'll find it. And I'll show you next week. I'll find it. I'm not gonna search and send it, but it's good shit.
Well, we got a toy chest coming up Monday. We got some toys to talk about, plus what's going on in San Diego Comic-Con and see what's going on in the Star Wars world, the Black Series, the Vintage Collection, the Hot Toys, everything else. So join us then on 5:30. Times will change. We'll have to make that announcement, and we'll do that on Monday. And with that, guys, thank you very much. It was awesome to have a full Sarlacc crew on. It feels like the old days. It feels good. It's right. Again, we'll take the missing poster. We found Joey. We found him, guys.
Oh, I'm giving him one more week.
Haley Moto had him in her clutches. She had him.
He's got to be here one more week before.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. With that, Scott,
keep it nerdy, everybody.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.